Hey guys, I'm Joe,
And my name's Michael,
and welcome to the
the
JMV
JMV Podcast.
Well, that was completely off. Anyways, he's not next to me today. I've had before I get into that, we have a guest today, Charlie again. So welcome back.
Hello.
Um, so I had a run-in with COVID. Basically, it came very close to home. So we didn't do last week's episode because he couldn't come, and I didn't feel like doing it online, but we didn't want to miss another episode. So today we are going to do the episode. So last week one of the other reasons because we don't have any subjects and there is one subject that we have today. It is for Charlie and I, but Michael, you can talk too, please, because we need you to talk more.
Okay.
But
Sorry.
yeah, no, it's all good, man. Anyways, my mic might not come across the same volume because I had to rearrange it. My mic is breaking apart, and I need a more expensive mic. So yeah, I am waiting until Christmas for a better mic stand
There
and
might be
stuff.
some good mics in like Best Buy,
Yeah,
probably.
I'm looking for an XLR microphone because apparently those are more noise canceling. They hear mostly you instead of the background, and USB microphones apparently focus on everything, which is what I don't need. Yeah,
Okay,
because
okay, I
people say don't get an XLR microphone because if you go far and have to show someone some like your viewer something, they're not gonna hear you. And I'm over here like number one, I don't use a webcam. Number two, well not yet. Number two, I'm literally always right by my head. Like there's nothing. My room is not that big. It's pretty good size, decent size, but it's not that big. I never have to go to get anything. So that just makes zero
got
sense. You know what I'm saying? But
you. Yeah, I know.
let's get into the subject. So
All right.
today, what we're gonna do, we're gonna talk about because Charlie in the last episode we had him in, we talked about having his skills as a director. There was one thing I did want to talk about that we didn't get though, so I feel like I'm glad we didn't talk about it because that makes for another episode.
Yeah.
So Charlie, you said that you were really excited to start directing again, and I have this film that, well, multiple films that I would love for you to direct.
Yeah.
So, I'm not sure if I told you about this, but I have actually, a very long time ago, when I was maybe 8, 9 years old, planned out a superhero. And so that superhero, I planned him out because my favorite superhero was the Flash by that time, but I wanted someone that I feel like would not be as nerfed down as the Flash because they always take our favorite superheroes and nerf them down to the point where it genuinely gets boring. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, no, I get that.
So I wanted to make a superhero that I wouldn't just nerf down, but I would make like Spider-Man, the MCU Spider-Man. Not
Mhm.
not as scared because I have to admit Spider-Man is way too childish. Then again, I can see why they're doing that. But he basically what I mean by Spider-Man is Spider-Man's leveling up in his movies. You can see he started off in Civil War all right. He got better in Homecoming and in Far From Home he was the best he ever was.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
actually really
yeah.
good.
Yeah, so that's gonna be how my superhero. He's the teleporter. His powers are based off teleportation. He gets his powers from a realm called the teleportation realm. It is similar to the Flash. I will admit, but I
Like
genuinely
Speed
made
Force and
this.
all that.
Huh?
Like with the Speed Force and all of that, I get where you're
Yeah,
going with
but
that. Yeah.
I I'm not gonna like. I'm not gonna give credit to the Flash. Like I will give credit to the Flash for me thinking of wanting to make a superhero, but I genuinely made up the realm myself. I wasn't thinking about the Flash because when I was 8 or 9 or 10, like it was when the Flash first started. So I wasn't
Like 14,
very.
I think.
Yeah, I didn't know much about the Flash whatsoever because of the fact I only knew him from the animated Justice League show. If you
Yeah.
Oh
guys,
yeah, I know him
yeah.
from like yeah.
So that basically I hated that character. Wally West from the animated Justice League show, they made him so weak. From what I've seen, all he did, like I've seen his power. He was very powerful in some of the episodes, but from what I've seen myself personally, all he did was just run super fast and punch, which that's not what the
Yeah.
Flash is supposed to be. You know what I'm saying?
From your experiences, he felt a lot very underpowered, I'm guessing.
Yeah, he felt like the weakest superhero there, and he was so boring. I hated it. But then the CW came out with the character, and I was like, oh my god, because I got introduced to that show from my nephew Dylan. I was like, oh my god, they made a Flash show? Let me check it out. So I check it out, and it's actually good. Like, the character's actually developing. The show's actually very well written. Like, it's not like Justice League where all he does is just run and punch. He's actually leveling up in the show and getting better and better. So
Yeah, no, that's,
Yeah, that's definitely really like true.
yeah, so that's what inspired me to make what I wanted to make. Because I did see him level up, but the thing is, they always nerfed down his speed. They always made him they made him so strong, but then when it came to the main villain, he was pathetic.
yeah. See, that was one of my gripes with the show. I mean, I love the show. It introduced me into all the comic book kind of stuff, mainly more. But they were quite inconsistent with how fast he was, which makes sense, I guess, because you always want to have like a villain in any kind of narrative to like be dominating or whatever at the start, then you overcome or whatever. Because otherwise, what's the point if you beat them in 5 minutes? But
That's true.
it was the inconsistency was irritating.
It really was. Like, in the Crisis on Infinite Earth, no. It was the crossover right before the Elseworlds crossover before Crisis on Infinite Earth on the CW. Yeah. So they made the Flash, because I saw this video. He calculated how fast the Flash ran in that one scene with Supergirl when he was slowing down the Earth.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, they run.
Yeah, he ran 60 something or 70 something % of the speed of light. But in season 6, he's said to only be able to run half the speed of light. So tell me, does that make sense at all?
No, yeah, that's just inconsistent writing.
That's exactly what inspired me to make the teleporter. I was like, you know what? I'm so sick and tired of this. They always nerf down these heroes. Stop doing that. Like, nerfing down a hero creates a lot of inconsistency, and that irritates me. So I made this character up. He starts off very weak, of course. So here's his backstory. I don't want to say too much because, like I said, this is gonna be a superhero. It's gonna be a whole superhero universe of my own. I can't spoil too much because if this comes out, it could be very big, depending on how I play my cards right and depending on how good I make the timeline and stuff. Yeah. He does have a very complicated timeline, I will admit. You will see why. I'm not gonna tell anyone why. Again, spoilers. I have planned out all of their movies, except there's one more movie that I'm planning, and it's the third superheroes movie. But that's it. I'm not going to say anything else. So basically, the teleporter, here's his backstory. I'm going to try not to spoil too much. So so he's an adult, but something happens, and he's from a different universe, like a whole different universe, not like Superman from a different Earth. He's a whole different, not a different Earth, a different planet. He's a whole different universe entirely. And that universe is not like any universe. It does not have an Earth. It does not have any... It's a blank universe where godlike beings live. So there's no planets. It's just an empty void. That's all I'm going to say. But it is filled with houses and life. And it's not necessarily... Huh?
In the void.
Yeah, it's not necessarily like it doesn't have any planets. It's just a universe. It's a universe. It's a universe that acts like a planet. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So it's like a void, but it doesn't look like a void. That was my mistake. It does look like an Earth. It does look like a planet, but it is not a planet. It's a universe that is like a planet.
The universe is just within like kind of one. It's like one planet in a sense.
Yes. And there's only 2 kinds of beings in that universe. There is magic and a teleporter. I don't want to say a magician, but someone who has magic powers and someone who has teleportation powers. Now, there is a god, the god of teleportation. Yes, I'm not gonna go too deep into him. You will figure out about him in the movies. You'll figure out more about him in the movies. But basically, the teleporter, he's already an adult. And then something happens, and he goes into a whole different universe. He goes to our universe, and he goes to Earth. And what happens is, something happened that made him young. So he is in college now. He's not like a whole adult. Because he was at least in his 30s, and now he's in his young 20s. Young. Yeah.
Okay.
So he goes to college, He meets a few people. He's known as the outcast. He's very quiet and he's very unusual because after all, he is from a different universe. He's not like us humans. So he's very aggressive, very 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 aggressive, and he gets better after meeting his future wife. I will say that he does have a love. Yes, that's what I'm gonna say. But he gets better and better. Eventually, he starts practicing more about his powers because when he gets younger, he forgets all of his experience of his powers. So he doesn't have any memory of it. He knows he has powers, but he doesn't know how to control them. He doesn't know how to use them. He doesn't know how powerful he is because he forgets that knowledge.
So does he remember though where he's from, or
He remembers where he's from. He remembers everything, and he remembers like over time once he starts to remember, like once he starts to learn his powers again, he starts to remember. But when he comes to that universe, he has no recollection of what he can do. He just knows he has powers, and he knows he's from a different universe. And
Okay.
he has a brother. His brother comes with him, and basically they get used to being humans, and stuff happens. He eventually becomes a superhero, and he meets someone like him, which is said to be impossible. You will figure out why in the movies. And
or like another person from the other universe?
yes. So he ends up, it becomes, he gets better and better and better in that movie, and he's doubted in that movie because he's not supposed to be powered. Like he doesn't know, he's getting used to it in that movie, and he's fighting a villain who is a lot stronger than him. So he evolves as a hero, and it moves on to the second movie. And in the second movie, he's much, much more powerful already. Because I don't like to nerf down heroes. Once I make them a certain level, I stick to that level. I don't nerf it down like they do. Yeah, because a lot of, like, for example, the Flash is the biggest example. They made him 60 to 70% of the speed of light. That's how fast he can run. But in season 6, he can only run half. Like that. They nerf it down after making him so powerful. It's annoying. So,
They do that a lot with the different kind of like creators taking over stuff. Like you said about earlier about Spider-Man or whatever, you take him. They have different directors working on the same character, right? So you'll have him in Civil War, I don't know, fighting this gigantic guy, Ant-Man, and then in the next film he's afraid of heights. Yeah, sure, it's a different height scale, but you kind of have the, I don't know, they work in contrast of each other.
Yeah, like it's like quite irritating seeing a hero get so high and then he's just lower than he was. It's annoying.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's my thing with my hero. My thing is once I get him to a certain level, he's staying in that level. He's not gonna be nerfed down. I don't like nerfing down my heroes. What I do, I play careful. I do. I don't make him too powerful too fast. Like I said, he's doubted in his own movie. So that's how you know he doesn't start off like Superman, like I'm gonna kill everyone. Because Superman, he's one of the most boring characters, you have to admit. He's a good character, amazing, but he's so boring because of the fact he's literally like he's the god of DC.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a character too powerful, it can become. It's like where you there's not really much to go from there if you start at the top.
exactly, which is why I'm ending off their movies and their timelines. Like basically, I'm ending off their era with them being, at their highest potential.
At their peak, so they start from the bottom, make their way to the top, and it ends with them being at the peak of the peak.
Yeah, because if I keep going after that, if you think about it, there's like it was already hard making them as powerful as they are because I had to make up a villain that can be even more powerful with them, which you know is hard. Which is why characters like the Flash are always getting weaker so that villains can be stronger.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's why I have to be careful as I possibly can, which is what I did. And I've worked on the movie. The movie was actually originally a show, which was going to have a lot of seasons. A lot of seasons. Like, it was going to be a huge show. Maybe 10 seasons. Yeah. And at one point in that show, I can spoil anything I want in that show, because that show, the movie's nothing like it. So in that show, he actually knew the Flash. and he was in the DC universe. Like, he's gonna be in the DC universe, and I'm hoping Warner Brothers will produce my movies because they're very good and they can give you a very high budget. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have to be careful with Warner Brothers though, because I'm gonna for sure, because I don't want them to do what they did with Snyder.
Yeah, the whole thing of
Yeah,
that was
the
absolutely
whole-
chaotic. I
It
mean,
was-
now to the point where they've literally rewritten their entire film.
Literally,
to,
like the
new
movie
release.
was horrible.
That was a chaos show. I wouldn't say the movie was horrible. I mean,
Because if you think about it, like, it was
Mhm.
good, but they made the Flash a wimp. He was scared of everything, but he was already a superhero before that. So that is like, it doesn't make sense. And then Batman, he wasn't really Batman. He was using guns.
no, yeah, Batman was weird in that film. Batman was
Yeah,
really weird
and-
in that film.
And
You could tell.
Superman was just he was just evil. Like, it didn't make sense. None of it made sense.
No, it was incredibly kind of like, it's one of my favorite things to talk about, kind of like the whole thing of Justice League. But yeah, it was a rush project, and you had two directors who were like incredibly different, kind of clashed on one project,
Yeah.
and it just didn't work. Like, it was fine, but they didn't want to delay it at all, because Warner Brothers, I mean, you know, they're just a bit, I don't know,
Strict.
they
and stuff.
prohibit a lot of stuff. They're kind of, feels like a lot of times did it for the money, but I guess it depends on what project, because you can't really just generalize the entire company because of a few films.
That's my thing. Like, that's why I say I have to be careful with Warner Brothers, instead of, oh no, I'm gonna make sure that they know not to do this. Like, no, I know that they're not bad. They're a very good company. They really are. But sometimes they go a bit too overboard. Like, for example, like what we were just talking about, Justice League. So I for sure will put my foot down and let them know they're not touching my character. Nobody. My character is all to me. I'm not gonna let anybody write comics about him unless I like. I'm gonna choose people to do it. Or if someone, if like, I don't care about the money. Yes, like, yes, the comics are gonna make money, and yes, I would like at least some of it. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm gonna be letting people that I don't know at all write my hero in their comics. So if I see that they have a good vision for him, I will, of course. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like,
But you want it to be your character still, kind of like your domain in a sense.
yeah, I don't want them to, because if I make my own hero and then they change it up, like, he's not going to be my hero anymore. You know what I'm saying? He's going to be theirs.
Yeah, exactly. And you still definitely want it like to stay with what you've created for the character, and like
Yeah.
it's kind of like your passion project in a sense. Which, in all fairness, I found the best kind of, well, like films or shows or any form of like media text or whatever is best when it's not kind of like a cash grab or something, and it is a passion driven project kind of thing. Like, you can kind of tell. I don't think anything could be truly bad if the person who's making it is genuinely passionate and like actually properly cares about the art that they're making and the characters they're building, and whatever focus of the project is. I mean, if you're passionate about like your character, where you want them to go, and you have a very clear vision. Even something like the DCEU, which isn't, it's had its mishaps or whatever, but you had Zack Snyder, who started that originally, and he had a clear vision. All this and his films, not including Justice League, because that's not his. The new one's going to be his, but they were consistent. He was building upon something, and whether you kind of liked it or not, you kind of have to, it was what was there was consistent, and it aligned with whatever he wanted to create it. And I don't know, I think that makes it good, no matter. I don't know. I just think that does make a project good if you have.
It really does. Like, at the end of the day, because there's a lot of movies that they focus more on the movie. I mean, not the movie, the money. And so the movie comes out, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. You can definitely tell a lot of like big studio cash grabs. You don't really get them a lot with like kind of indie projects or whatever. But I don't know, say something like rebooting a franchise for like the 50 millionth time, and just kind of scrapping something together in like a couple months, which is what Justice League suffered from, because they had the whole thing with Zack Snyder obviously having to leave because of what happened with his daughter, but they didn't want to delay the film at all, so they were just like, yeah, we'll just keep on the same schedule and just redo the whole film. just for
Like,
money because
just...
it would have been annoying. But you have something like, I don't know, say Sonic the Hedgehog movie, for example. They spent a lot of money redoing the entire design for the character,
and that
they
movie came out amazing.
Yeah, exactly. And the film, got delayed by quite a bit, and it cost them a lot more money. But in the long run, the actual look of the character was way better, and it made the movie better than what it originally would have been.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, if you truly care about what you're making, it's gonna come out good either way. Like, it may not be the best, but it's gonna come out. It's not gonna be bad because you care about it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah.
That's
Even
always
if
been my thing with the teleporter. I'm very strict with how he is. I'm very strict with his power level, stuff like that. Because at the end of the day, I don't want him to be the best superhero, but I want him to be my best superhero. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah, you want him to. You kind of want it to be your thing. This is your character, your passion project.
Yeah.
Even if it's like directed by me or or whatever in the future or something, it's still your character. You do the screenwriting. You do the all the stuff,
like,
character work, the development.
Back then, when I didn't know about having a director, I was like, okay, you know what? I'll be excited to film this stuff. But what I didn't realize was I'm not very talented at all with directing. So I know I've seen your first film being quite good direction wise, not directing it, you know what I'm saying? Your skills are very good. And so that's why I feel like in a few years, because this movie is going to come out years, it's going to take a very long time to plan everything out.
Yeah, obviously.
I don't have a script at all. I didn't write anything down. This is all in my head. I've kept all of the movies in my head, and I've forgotten a lot, but I've also tried my best to remember, and I do remember a lot every now and then, so that's good. I know, at the end of the day, I don't think I'm going to be the only writer for this movie, for sure.
Oh, yeah, no, you can have a screenwriting team and whatnot.
Yeah, but I will be extremely strict with them and tell them how I want it. That's my thing. Because, yeah, I'm not going to be mean with the movie, of course, because there are a lot of mean people no, I want it this way. How could you do that? I would never do something like that. But I will definitely put my foot down and make sure they keep the character how I want it. Because my vision, I feel like if I better it, because I have bettered it a lot. Like I said, the show was very messy. I stole characters from other shows, from other heroes, which was not good. Like, for example, in the show, the original Teleporter show, I had Savitar, which I don't own the rights for that. Yeah, I don't own the rights for that at all. I had I of course had my own heroes, but I had heroes like Savitar. I think I might have slid Zoom in there and Reverse Flash, which that's not good. Too many characters that I don't own. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So I had to. That was always a maybe, but then I realized I'm probably not gonna get my hands on the Flash. The Flash that I want anyways to partner with the Teleporter would be Grant's Flash, because that Flash is the one that motivated me. That Flash is the one that made me love the character. Yeah, Grant's Flash has always been good.
By the time, in all fairness, the film would, come out or whatever, all these ideas get put to, practice or whatnot, I mean, that show's probably going to be long gone.
Yeah, for sure.
The only thing.
But I will always keep that idea, though. Just in case, if I ever get the chance, I'm definitely going to put Grant Gustin in at least a cameo. The thing with me, though, is I have to be very careful with his character, because I don't want to ruin it. But
that's the thing.
Yeah, I do have visions for the Flash, though. The only problem is every time I write my Flash, basically I've put in my head, the Flash, how I want him, and the way I want him is to be the best speedster there ever was, the fastest, the strongest, which can get boring. And if I go too overboard with it, that ruins the character. He's another Superman.
I mean, in all fairness, though, you have shows like, I haven't finished this show yet, but I am currently watching it, like One Punch Man or whatever, which actually kind of I don't know if you've watched it. It is good. The most powerful whatever superhero ever, and they kind of go. He starts off insanely powerful, and he's consistent throughout the entire show. But the whole kind of thing is they do delve into that whole idea of where does he go from here, where's the challenge and stuff like that. I mean, I feel like that only really works with his character, because that's the entire point of this character. Not the entire point of this character, but it's kind of the whole point of the show. It's the whole main idea, the main concept. But if you're clever about writing, there is still ways to go with a character who is all powerful. Like they usually delve into like the whole god complex kind of thing of it. Was like, I don't know, Dr. Manhattan or One Punch Man in this example.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But there are still ways to go with clever writing if you have them go straight to the top. But they're kind of like last resorts thing. I feel like if you want to continue a character going as like a franchise or something like that, you'd want them to progressively kind of, like start at the bottom, like you said, progressively get better, kind of have them finish at their peak. Like, I'm assuming the way you're kind of going about it is kind of like a straight, like, line upwards kind of thing.
Yeah,
it just keeps
going with it.
improving.
There is going to be, like, I do have a plan afterwards. I will say a tiny bit of details. I haven't planned it out entirely at all, so I can't tell that many details, even if I wanted. But there is this one movie. It's going to... I've realized over time, planning this out, it is similar to Crisis on Infinite Earths, which kind
but
of
it's gonna be a little bit different, right?
It's gonna be a lot different, but it is similar.
Okay.
Which,
in all fairness, like the whole thing with Crisis on Infinite Earths is kind of like a whole thing like Endgame. Everyone has a big crossover finale kind of thing. It's not like an idea that you're gonna get.
I understand.
Over.
I've also I have been inspired. I will say this: I have been inspired a lot by a few different things for my movies, and I will definitely in those movies credit those people who I've been inspired by, because there's a lot of people that are like, oh, I love this idea, I'm gonna take it, and they don't credit them at all, and I hate that. You know what I'm saying? So the people who I've been inspired by, I will definitely credit them in the movie. They will get their credits even though they had nothing to do with it, like movie wise, but they had the plan.
In all fairness, right? Well, a lot of people do that. Like, okay, you say take the Spider-Man movies or any Marvel movies, for example. They always credit like Stan Lee or whatever. When in all fairness, he actually doesn't have. He didn't rather. Also, recipe Stan Lee, but he had absolutely no creative freedom over any of the films, which he was fine with. And they always credited someone like in the Spider-Man movies. They'll credit like Steve Ditko or Stan Lee and like the writers of the original kind of version. So. I mean, yeah, you can. What I was thinking of, if you like some of the writers for certain characters or stuff like that, you can. I don't know how it would work in the future. I'm honestly not. I don't know the business side of it. That's something that I'll try to go later in my career if I actually do pursuing on that path. But try and involve with Sorry, I'm wondering my speech. Try and get involved with those writers or whatever, and like you can put them onto your project. In all fairness.
Oh yeah, I mean I would. The only thing is I have planned everything out, so it would be too late to do that. But
fair enough.
They have had a big, like, for example, have you? I don't think any of you have heard of him, especially you, Charlie, because you're all the way in England. But have you heard of Afmal? Any of you?
Afmal.
No.
She was a very big show writer, Minecraft show writer. She used to get 2 to 4, maybe 6 million views per episode of this one show she had, and it went into a lot of different shows, that one show in particular. But
what show was that?
It started off as Phoenix University, I'm pretty sure, and it moved on into a lot of different things. But in the second movie of The Teleporter, it's actually the third movie. In the third movie of The Teleporter, the second movie, something happens. Anyways, in the third movie, he really, like, you really get to see how powerful he is. You really get to see his persistence, because he has a oh my god moment, like a huge superhero moment that builds up his character immensely. And so like, I'm very excited for the third movie. The third movie, I'd say, is definitely going to be better than the first and second for sure. The second, I'd have to say, maybe not as good as the first, but it is not really a bad movie. You know what I'm saying? If I can better that movie, it can be better than the first, though. It does have the potential. But the third movie is the best without a doubt, in my opinion, because it has that fun in it, but then it also has the seriousness, and it also has him building up his character, which is what I need. Because in the third movie, for all of my characters in their final movie, I make them as powerful as they can possibly be.
It's the climax kind of thing.
Yeah, and like I said, they are gonna have a movie like all together. All of the characters I've made, it's gonna be kind of like Crisis on Infinite Earths because they come together to fight a force that they can't fight alone. Even if they're extremely powerful, they're basically gods at this point. I will say that.
Yeah.
But I will tell the names though because I've told only the teleporter. His brother. His name is Mythic. He's on the magic side. He has mythical powers, and I do have to credit the Flash with him though. He does get his powers from the Speed Force. So I do have to try to get the rights for that because if I don't, I'm kind of screwed.
I mean, in all fairness, you can just kind of like rename, reshape, kind of.
I technically can. I've made this one thing Speed Realm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if
I think that will work. You just
if I can't get the rights for the Speed Force, I will just say the Speed. Technically, I might not even be able to do the Speed Force anyways. You'll see why in his third movie. But yeah, I might have to do Speed Realm. I might stick with that one. Actually, that would make sense because Teleportation Realm, Speed Realm.
Yeah, actually, kind of keep the consistency
So
of the whole idea.
It is inspired by the Speed Force. I will definitely in my interviews, because a lot of movie makers have interviews about their movie. So in every one of my interviews, I will credit the things I've been inspired by. If I can keep them in my mind, because sometimes I forget and I don't say, which is one of my problems. But whatever I remember, I will credit. I promise. So
I mean, yeah, I say kind of like if you got all these ideas kind of thing, just in case you don't forget. I'd say as like as you're going now, kind of like you can view it as a side project, hobby or whatever. Just kind of put this stuff down to paper or whatever, because once you put it down to paper, you can kind of start like viewing it a lot more like.
The only thing is, I'm waiting for that because I don't have the writing skill. Yes, I am writing a book. But even that I paused on because I'm trying to work on my writing skill. I don't have that many different words in mind. Like, for example, the one problem that I hated in my book was I used the word laughed a lot. Like, for example, the main characters, their name is Joshua and Evelyn. Joshua laughed. Evelyn laughed. Like, I use that a lot in the story.
I mean, I'd say don't because I'm not saying write like a screenplay or anything, because screenplays are hard to write. I have no idea how to write a screenplay. I mean, I'm probably I don't know, that's something I'll do in my own film course or whatever, but don't write a screenplay, but write ideas, concept, just any put thought to paper, because if you can document your thoughts, then it's going to be a lot easier to come back on, because otherwise you may have a great idea one moment and then in the next it's gone kind of thing. And if you have all these ideas, even if you're not going to use half of them, you'll use the other half or something like that. Even if you'll just use one of them, it's idea that
I do get what you mean. Sorry to cut off.
It's not like document it all.
Yeah, sorry to cut you off, by the way, but I do know what you mean. But I have actually planned out what I do is I use my head a lot to plan out everything that I'm trying to do, and so I've planned out the entire movie. There's nothing that I do want to add, not right now, and I have forgotten ideas. I know, but the thing is, I still remember the main thing in the story, how it progresses. That's what I remember, which is what I'm going to use to write it down when I have skills. But the only thing is, I can't, because the movie, it could either be a short movie or at least an hour long, which it is extremely hard to write something that's an hour long on paper.
Oh yeah, especially at this stage.
So I can barely write maybe a one-page paper. Like I'm good at stretching things out, but I can I can do a one-page paper, but a 2-page, that's extremely challenging. So imagine an hour-long film on paper. That is going to be way out of my skill zone. But
here's the thing. Your concepts and ideas, when if you put this to production, right? There's so many layers to making a film. So I don't even understand a small percent of them. But the thing is, you can get, I'm pretty sure, writers and kind of stuff like that to put your ideas into actual words and stretch it out and put it to a 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour kind of screenplay or whatever, right? So you can get like people who can like properly write up your concepts and your ideas, and you can say, oh no, I don't want it to be like that, I want it to be like this. So even if you're not good at writing, the cons, it doesn't particularly even matter, because it's so like much broad kind of like stuff you do in a film. There's so many like different teams and stuff like that, and that's one of them, and those are the kind of people that will help you put this idea to film.
That is, yeah, actually, that makes a lot of sense. Because I am not very good at stretching out, not that much. So that probably is what I'm gonna do in the end. Because, like I said, I do have some writing skill, but the most I can do is a short book. I can't do an hour-long film or anything like that. So that is definitely what I'm probably gonna do. No, most likely gonna do. If I do manage to get better, I will write some of my own in there. But I always for sure knew that I would have help.
Yeah, I mean, and you can just you've got this like this is gonna be in a while's time or whatever. You have a lot of time to develop skills. You just put stuff on the side along with school or whatever, right? Maybe look at writing courses and stuff like that, and try and find different different way that you can obviously improve a lot on your writing abilities over the years. Kind of, even if you just do it for a year, that's still going to be a massive improvement. You're learning every day, kind of thing.
Yeah, that could work a lot. That is most likely what I'm like. I've always cause I might not do a course though, because the current English teacher I have, if I stay in this high school the entire 4 years, the current English teacher I have has been like a mentor to me, and he has upped my skills, my writing skills immensely. Like, that's how good this man is. And
Yeah.
I've gotten so good that I've been able to write my stories better than I ever have. Even though they're not that good, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh my god, dude, my book is so good. No, it's not that good. But I have upped on my skills a lot, which is why I did start. But, at the end, I would love for you to direct their films. So, let me elaborate a bit more on the others, though. Like I said, mythical powers. His main power is his speed, the Speed Force. He's also like the teleporter. They're known as the main ones. They're the main ones. The third hero doesn't come for a while, but
2 of them for the while.
huh?
Well, so it's just the 2 of them for like the first couple, whatever.
Yeah, the first couple like the last hero, his name's Lightning. You can tell what his powers are. He gets his powers from, I guess, Lightning Realm. So yeah, I will say, you should already know how Mythic and the Teleporter have their powers. Like, the viewers watching, you should already know. That's why I'm not explaining their powers. But Lightning is different. He is different. He is not from another universe. He's from Earth. So I will explain how he got his powers very quickly. He worked in a lab. I can't say anything too much. He worked in a lab, and there was an accident. That's all I'm saying. He
It's a
worked...
very brief description, works.
Huh?
I mean, I'll say brief description, but it works. Kind of sounds like, kind of the classic kind of whole thing of accident powers, which works in all fairness.
This one is different though. I will say, there was a sabotage. It's not gonna be like the Flash. The Flash, it was himself. But Lightning, something was sabotaged, and he's not the only one that has powers. He has a partner, Strike, and Strike, her powers. She's extremely strong, super strength, but she can also shoot blasts. She doesn't have that many powers. She can fly, shoot blasts, and extremely strong. Those are her main powers. She's kind of like Wonder Woman, I guess. Yeah. Except she doesn't have a lasso, and she can shoot blasts. She can also take a lot of pain, which is one of her powers. Huh?
Quite durable in a sense, like I don't know.
That's one of her powers, but it only becomes like that over time. So there will be something that happens, and you will see, Lightning. His story is what connects him with the Teleporter and Mythic. So in the first movie, in Lightning's first movie, there's something that happens, and that's what connects him in the third movie with not lightning lightning in his first movie, like I said, connects him with the teleporter and Mythic in their third movie. So by the time that happens, I think the teleporter is before Mythic's third movie. Yeah. Mythic's third movie is after the teleporter's third movie. So
Yeah.
yeah, but I forget my timeline every now and then. Like I said, I have not wrote it down. But in Lightning's first movie connects him with them. But like I said, he's gonna come very late. So in all of their third movies, that's when he comes, basically.
Yeah, okay. I mean, yeah, works kind of with the timelines or whatever. I mean, if you can line it all up, it's quite cool to kind of link each. Well, if you can have like one event that kind of is consistent throughout that kind of like, I don't know, like the third film and the third film for each of Mythic and Teleporter, and then you have that like kind of bleeding or whatever to Lightning's first film. That's interesting, kind of like franchise connecting or whatever.
Yeah. The reason I'm doing Lightning last is because actually I never was gonna make Lightning, believe it or not. But so look, I will tell you about the original Teleporters movie. So in his movie, I can't tell you too much though because a lot of the details in there are from it's after the second movie, so I can't say too much. But the main villain, something happens between him and the teleporter, and basically there is no teleporter. So, you know what? What I will say, anyways, they merge. I'll say that. Not a lot of people that are gonna watch the movie are gonna watch this podcast anyways. So they merge. There is a hero called Corruption, and that is the main villain in the third movie, and the teleporter merged. But it's not like merged to the point where there's two brains, there's two heads, there's two different people thinking. It's
just all like one body, two souls, two minds.
It's not. Yeah, it's like their powers combined, their body. But the one that's controlling is the teleporter. Except, as you can guess by his name, he's corrupted. So
yeah,
that's something. So that movie, it was very bad, very very bad. It focused too much on the teleporter, or I guess you could say Corruption, but it focused too much on him. The movie was dry. It was not gonna be that good. It was gonna be worse than the second movie, and the second movie was maybe the flop in the trilogy. Even though like I said, the second movie is pretty good, but
it's not to have consistency throughout like an entire trilogy, like in standard or whatever. Everyone's gonna have like their favorite and their least favorite or whatever.
So, I guess I was trying too hard to make the third movie the best, and so that's what made it, trash, horrible. So, I had to redo the entire movie, believe it or not. I got very, very far in that movie, and had to redo the entire thing. I was like maybe slightly over halfway, and I had to redo the entire thing because it was just not good at all.
I mean, in all fairness, though, it's a good kind of like trope just to recognize when something isn't going well and just to kind of like go back and redo. Like a lot of people will just kind of be like, "Oh, well, I'm already too far, and I'm just going to keep going." And then if you do that, something like that is bad will come out of it. But it takes kind of like, I don't know, a lot of mental willpower or whatever just to say, you know what I've done isn't too great. I'm going to go back, redo it, and kind of make something better out of what was already there.
Yeah, that honestly, that's mostly for my love for the character, because I love the character immensely. He's my favorite superhero, believe it or not. I can't wait until he comes out. But that's the teleporter, and then there's Mythic, there's Lightning. I would love for you to direct their movies, but I will say, huh?
I mean, it does sound really interesting. I mean, if it ever comes to that stage where stuff like this gets put to production, then I would definitely be very interested in trying to put your vision to light. To film.
Yeah, the reason I want you to do it is because there's certain scenes that are gonna be certain ways, and I know for sure you can do those scenes because, like I said, in your first film, you did something that takes directors a while to do, and you did it pretty decently. So that goes to say that goes to show that you are going to be a very good director, and that's why I want you to direct it. Not just that we are close, so if we have certain things that we can clash on, we can do it civilly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's a lot of people that are like, no, I don't want it done like this, and the director's like, but come on, it has to be done like this. I'm not going to do it any other way. And then they fight. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. No one likes kind of like tension in the workplace.
Yeah, that's what makes the movie not as good at the end. You know, but I would really love for you to direct the movies. And really quick, I would say, because I did say a fourth character, she's not going to have her own movie. She's going to be with Lightning. So in every Lightning movie, there's only going to be 2, of course, because Lightning, like I said, I was not going to make him, so I don't have too many plans for him, so he's only going to have 2 movies. But Lightning, in every movie he has, Strike is going to be there.
Oh, well, is Strike going to get a film or just...
No.
Or probably not.
No films.
Oh, fair enough.
Strike, I got her from an ex-friend. Her name was Samantha.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but I'm going to give credit to Samantha, of course. I don't know her last name, though, so all I can put is credit to Samantha for Strike. Like, but, yeah, I've said a lot about my heroes. I'd say that should be a good episode, but I would love for you to really direct them. We could do a lot of good things together, and I know that for sure. And I'm excited for this movie as well. Huh?
I think it'd be a fun collaboration. I don't know. I mean, I have no real plans of what if I, do become a director, of what I'd make, what I'd do. I mean, I aspire kind of like, well, not aspire. I admire your kind of like vision in that you have like a very set vision. You know what you want to do. You have a long plan, and if you have a plan, then that makes it easier to kind of like go through with it, and you have a kind of path in life or whatever. So I admire that kind of quality about you.
Yeah, believe it or not.
While vision, I'd really like to put that to film if I could.
Yeah, I feel like we could definitely do a lot of good stuff together. And I feel like this movie, it really does have the potential to be big. Like the DC universe, the Marvel universe, I feel like it does have the potential to be around that level because of the fact that I take a lot of love into this character. And I treat him carefully, you know? So
yeah, exactly. These stuff are like usually built off of passion, and if you have passion and drive, then you can go far with that.
Yeah, so that is always my thing. And in the next episode, since we're talking, because we're running out of subjects, and Michael does not have too much to talk about on his part, so in the next episode, I have something else that I want to make, because there's a show I want to make, and I would love to talk about it, because, I have a few plans. Those are the first things I'm going to make, and I will say, it may come off as selfish, which, if it does, apologies, but the main characters basically the main character in the show is going to be the most powerful, and I'm going to be that character, because, like I said, I want to be an actor, and I feel like this show and the teleporter, I want to act as the teleporter, because I feel like I can do what I need for him, but this show and these movies, I feel like, is going to be my big debut as an actor. And so that's actually really cool to think about, because if you think about it, I am creating my own huge debut as an actor.
I mean, a lot of people like, I don't know, you take someone like Orson Welles, for example, with Citizen Kane, like he directed, screenwrote, and starred main character in his own film, and the stuff like that. If you can do it right and do it well, then that's one incredibly unique or whatever. Like a lot of actors, I say, do write their own characters, and usually you find the best characters come from that or whatever, because you can work with exactly what you think, or like you could do all like the little quirks you think the character should have without having to like explain it to another actor.
Yeah, I would love to do that, because at the end I feel like I know how he's supposed to be. I know him best more than anyone, so it would make sense. Like if I have enough skill, it would make sense if I were to be the teleporter, But
yeah,
we've talked about this for
it was a lot.
50 minutes. It was a pretty good talk.
Yeah,
But
no, it's very interesting, and definitely sometime in the future we'll have to reconvene about it.
yeah, I would like it would be amazing for you to direct it. I can just tell for sure. My prediction is you're gonna be one of the best directors like there ever was. That's genuinely my honest prediction. Like, cause there's a lot of people that are yes when they're like, yes, you're gonna be the best, and they don't mean it. But honestly, I really do feel that way because, like I said, you did something in your first short film that it takes people a while to learn, and you did it pretty decently. So you do have a
Mm-hmm.
lot of potential.
That means a lot to me. Yeah, I mean, and I mean, I hope so. That's the big dream, but
We all gotta
that's kind
have
of
big dreams at the end of the day, you know?
exactly. You gotta
Yeah.
have to aspire, but manage expectations as well. A
Yeah, I
big,
have to keep my expectations in check as well because I want to be one of the most famous people alive. And not really for the money, but for putting my stuff out there and inspiring others. Because that's what I want to do with the teleporter, but then I also have stuff like putting books out and then putting movies out at the same time.
yeah, a
But
lot
there
you
is
want
a side project, kind of. I kind of want to be an artist as well, and I want to be one of the biggest artists there is. Like, I'm more of an old timers artist, but I'm also not at the same time. It's like a mix, modern and old timers. Like, for example, kind of like slow artists, like for Riff. I'm kind of like for Riff because he's modern, but also not at the same time.
I mean,
So
yeah, I mean, fair enough.
yeah, so I have extreme expectations. I have extreme dreams. So like, honestly, if you want to be one of the biggest directors ever, like, just remember you're not the only one, man, that has huge dreams like that. So
Yeah, a lot of people have big dreams. You kind of
plus, you don't
just.
gotta keep yourself in check either. You have potential. I've seen it.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. I mean, I'll just have to keep bettering myself, keep go
Yeah.
and just I don't know, just see where life takes me.
Yeah, that is because like I've seen these people, certain people, they're like, I'm gonna be the best singer, I'm gonna be the best book writer, I'm gonna be the best director, and they don't try anything. That's what I've been doing with my songs. By the way, guys, if you hear my dog in the background, my mic picks up a lot. I apologize, but um, yeah, basically, oh my god, this dog, he's so annoying. He made me forget what I was gonna say. Cool.
I can't hear it.
The mic probably will. Like the recorder makes the mic louder, but yeah, like you know. Oh yeah. Okay, I remember. Well, songwriting, for example, I've gotten kind of better in a short period of time. That's because I've been trying to make as much as possible. If I
Mm-hmm.
come up with something, because sometimes I spit out lyrics like for random songs that I haven't made yet, and I'm like, oh my god, wait, I actually could really use this, you know? So
Yeah.
that's how I've gotten better. But that is the end of this episode. It is essentially an hour long, 6 minutes from it, not even. It's like 52 minutes and 50 seconds right now. So
That's like crazy.
yeah, I'd say
Jeez.
this is I think our longest episode or our second longest. But yeah, thank you Charlie for coming on again. I have
Yeah,
to
no,
say
it's fun to do it.
I'm not gonna lie. You're our favorite guest. You really are, man.
Honestly, yeah.
I'd have to
Well, I
say,
do very much enjoy being on it.
yeah, like whenever you're on, it's a huge conversation, and I love that. That's the one thing about you. Always
Yeah.
with you, it's a huge conversation, and that's what I love.
Well, longer episodes are usually the better ones, and more
Yeah,
substance.
Yeah.
but I'd have to say we definitely do want to put you on multiple times for sure.
Yeah, I'll come on multiple times.
Yeah, you're a really good guest, man, for sure.
Yeah,
Maybe
thank you
even
very
maybe even a third host if we one day,
Jeez.
Oh yeah.
that'd have
That
to
would
be in
that'd
the
be very
far
interesting.
future though. Yeah, it
Yeah.
would be really cool, but that'd have to be in the far future because
Oh, yeah.
we have very different times
Schedules
and
and
you're
whatnot.
busy a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that would be sick. You as a third host, like 3
I would
hosts.
very much be interested in that.
That would be
Yeah,
crazy.
that would be like it would actually be really good because not only would we have really good talks and long ones every episode, but
Yeah.
we could also have a fourth guest, which would mean even longer and even more interesting, which would make the podcast even better. So
Yeah.
that would be sick. Like the plans for this podcast, huge guys, huge plans. But
Yeah, that'd be huge.
yeah, this has been this has been Joe, Michael, and Charlie. Thank you for watching the JMV podcast. This is Michael.
Please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.
And comment as well, because
Yeah.
we don't get many. I don't think we get many comments at all, if not 0 comments. So if you have anything to say, do comment. We love to get feedback, and we will start responding soon. But yeah, comment. We love getting feedback. We love seeing what you guys think about the episodes. We want to know what you want us to do to be better. We want to be, very different from the other podcasts. We don't want to be too boring, which, we are running out of subjects, so we do need to try to get as much, we need to try to be as fun as possible. That's our thing with podcasts. But yeah, this has been us. Thank you for watching. Bye, guys.
Peace.